The great Tamil poet Subramanya Bharati said that even if one person is left to starve, we will destroy the entire world. Agriculture contributes just around 14 to 15% of the GDP of India, while almost 50% of the population are dependent on agriculture. So, because there is no magic wand to correct the agricultural sector. Hi friends, welcome, Rangarajan here. The great Tamil poet Subramanya Bharati said that even if one person is left to starve, we will destroy the entire world. That was because food is the basic item for survival of human beings, and linked closely to that is the farmer. So in today's video, we are going to look at the three recent enactments with respect to farm and farmers, and what are the pros and cons of those enactments and my view on the same. But before we go to that, a little bit of history. At the time of independence, India had a lot of food shortage. We used to have famines also during the British period. In fact, when Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri was the Prime Minister in 1965, when India and Pakistan were at war with each other, he appealed to the people of the country to skip one meal at least once a week, so that the people who don't have adequate food grains don't starve. So that was the situation during the 1960s. And then we had what is called as the Green Revolution, and the father of Green Revolution, as he is called, Professor M.S. Swaminathan, who was instrumental in implementing the Green Revolution across the country, and then later we achieved self-sufficiency. But now in 1991, the Indian economy was liberalized, the industry and services sector was liberalized, but agriculture continued to be under the various clutches of state and various other factors. And today, agriculture contributes just around 14 to 15% of the GDP of India, while almost 50% of the population are dependent on agriculture. So out of the income generated in India every year, if it is 100 rupees, only 15 rupees comes from agriculture, but 50% of the population, which is roughly around 60 to 65 crores, is dependent on that agriculture. And not just that, out of the agricultural farmers, 86% are small and marginal farmers who hold less than 2 hectares, and almost 50% of them are landless agricultural laborers, which means they don't own any land but just do agricultural labor. Now, why this background? That will help us appreciate these enactments which have recently happened in a much better way. So now, the first of those acts is the amendment to the Essential Commodities Act. Now, this is an act which was enacted way back in the 1950s. It allowed the government to declare certain commodities as essential commodities and then regulate them. And now what is the amendment that has been brought in? Items like cereals and pulses, which means rice, wheat, all the dals that we eat, onion, potato, oil seeds, all these have been removed from the list of essential commodities. So this will allow, according to the benefits of the act, this will allow, and rightly so, more investment probably, so that these items can be stocked and it can be used for agri-related businesses. It will also ensure that there are no various government orders which can affect the farmers who are producing these products. But having said that, whether it will really result in government not intervening much, because as recently 10 days back on September 14th, the government banned export of onions because the onion prices were increasing. So this logic that this Essential Commodities Act amendment will ensure that there is no government interference as it was earlier is something which we'll have to wait and see how it happens. So that is with respect to the Essential Commodities Act amendment. But the two more contentious issues is, one is what I would, for ease of understanding, call the Free Trade Law. It is a very long act name, so let us assume it as a free trade enactment. And the second one is an act which enables contract farming, or what is the Contract Farming Enabling Act. Now, if you look at the positives from these enactments, See, free trade is a fundamental right which is guaranteed under Article 19(1)(g) of the Indian Constitution. So just like anybody has the freedom to trade whatever they want to do, whatever business they want to do, the farmer should be free to trade on his produce wherever he wants, however he wants. So it is kind of restoring the fundamental right to the farmers of the country, no doubt. There was lot of taxation and transportation cost for taking these products to the mandis, as it is called, APMC, Agricultural Product Marketing Committees, or what is called as mandis. And because of that, the farmer was probably getting lesser value for his produce. So this could set that right to some extent. And thirdly, it will also ensure that the farmer knows the predictability of his price. So when he enters into a contract with a company or a multinational or a big trader, he can ensure that he knows what is the price that he is going to get at the time of sowing the seeds itself. So these are some of the benefits which can accrue from this act. But we have to look at it from a more critical angle. See, way back in 2015, ITC, which is also a big food company, it set up what is called as e-Chopal for electronic trading. While there was immediate benefit to the farmers, it did not sustain for long. The same government in 2016 introduced what is called as eNAM, which is Electronic National Agricultural Market. And what was the aim of the eNAM? To bring transparency and to use technology for linking the farmer produce with the APMCs, so that the best price discovery, so that the farmers get the best price possible. And in fact, just 20 days before these laws were first promulgated as ordinances, this was done in June 2020, just 20 days before that, on May 15th, 2020, the central government announced that 1,000 APMCs have been linked under the eNAM projects, and they said it as a great achievement. But now, with this law, new law, these two new laws in place, where there is no requirement that it has to be sold only through the APMCs. Because of that, the APMC structure can go into a problem. The eNAM can go into a problem. So what is the solution for that? We do not know. Number two, as I told you at the beginning, 86% of the farmers are small and marginal farmers, less than 2 hectares of land, and almost 50% of them are landless agricultural laborers. So will they have the negotiating power with large corporates? Will they be able to go to district magistrates if there is any dispute between the buyer and the farmer? Now these are things which can, because there is no magic wand to correct the agricultural sector by just enacting laws. That is something which we should understand. And more importantly, this is something which deals with agriculture. Of course, the parliament gets the power to enact on this because there is also an entry in the concurrent list. We saw what is concurrent list, state list, union list during the federation lecture. So under the concurrent list, there is one entry based on which these laws have been enacted. But why this hurry? During the 16th Lok Sabha itself, the number of laws which were getting referred to committees was getting reduced when compared to the 14th and the 15th Lok Sabha. Now these are enactments which will require more consultation, especially when it is related to agriculture. There have been various commissions in the past like Sarkaria Commission and Poonchi Commission which have said that when you are enacting a law in the concurrent list, they said the central government and the parliament that please do consult the states. So in this time of a pandemic, when the parliament has been convened just to ensure that the constitutional requirement is met, these laws needn't have been passed in such a hurry, and there could have been more consultation, and that too through a voice vote in the Rajya Sabha without actual voting taking place. Now these are things which don't augur well according to the parliamentary rules as well as to the Parliamentary Convention of India. So just to sum up, I have told what are the positives and what are the negatives or the shortcomings of these enactments. This is just a summary slide for you to have a look at it. But more importantly, finally, at the end of the day, the farmers who feed the billions of people in our country should not live in poverty. and I hope ultimately all the measures taken by the government help them in coming out of poverty and leading a good standard of life. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again next week with another video. Thank you.